My second favorite use case for setting up Conscious Kitchen using AI was with my lease. It was a 45-page commercial lease, and I read it. I read every single line, but I put this into AI and I said, act like a commercial real estate agent, read this lease, and then find out what could be detrimental to me in the future. I said to Chat, act like an electrician and find me the most energy efficient, highest capacity, largest capacity, and best priced oven I could find.
What do you use Claude for?
For my total toxic load assessment, I built out the skills in Claude. It started off as one skill and then it became way too deep. And I broke it out into 8 different skills, now 15.
Welcome to Artificial Reality, the reality behind AI adoption. I'm your host, Galina Fendikevich. With me today, I have Dr. Nikki Siso, a certified holistic health practitioner and the founder of Conscious Kitchen. Nikki, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Galina. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Tell us about Conscious Kitchen and what made you want to start it.
Wow, well, Conscious Kitchen is an endeavor with my mother that began, she had a restaurant in Scottsdale, and she is a master chef, and it broke my heart that she closed the restaurant and no one would get to experience her incredibly yummy, delicious, healthy food. So there isn't a single other raw restaurant in Austin serving this kind of cuisine. And it's actually an interesting backstory. I was trying to figure out what's next for me in life. And I actually hit rock bottom trying to figure that out, spent all of my money going in all different directions that weren't actually correct for me, weren't sustainable long-term, weren't really me on purpose. And so each one of them, I'd go down this rabbit hole of like, okay, I'm gonna start doing AI and supporting and sustainability. No. And then I went down another rabbit hole of like meatware that you produced in a lab. What is it called? I'm blanking. Anyway, I went down all of these different channels and avenues that weren't right for me, that weren't working, or the industry wasn't ready, or something was happening. And I finally was on my knees begging Spirit. I'm like, please guide me, show me the way. Like, how am I here to serve? How can I be a vessel of service? And then my mother called.
She heard you.
She literally heard me. My angel sent her, right? And she said, let's open this restaurant. And my whole body said, yeah, yes, this is right. And mind you, we hadn't lived in the same city since I was 15. My mother has always been my biggest trigger, my biggest challenge, biggest teacher, obviously, is what that means. But we hadn't even been in the same space. Like when we did come together for holidays, it was 3 days till the explosion, because she has a very strong personality. She likes things done her way. That's how she creates safety for herself. And she raised a very strong woman, right? So we went to battle, to war. I didn't like being told how to do things. And so it was always a really tumultuous relationship. And so to go into full-blown business with my mother was an unbelievable decision for me to actually make with a full yes in my body. Like, that should not have happened.
And you felt it and you did it, because now we have Conscious Kitchen here in Austin.
Yeah, it's been an unbelievable journey of healing between the two of us, because we've actually had to sit down and have really deep, profound conversations, heart-to-heart conversations of like, what are the stories we're both making up about each other? When she does this, when she tries to control things or say how things are happening or should go, my little Nikki was hearing, oh, you don't know how to do it right. You can't get it right.
And how did the both of you come together to build the philosophy of Conscious Kitchen and open up the restaurant?
Right. So we both had studied our PhDs in holistic health and nutrition. So we understood what the body needed to heal and function optimally. Both of our specialties were peak performance. So we actually studied doctors and scientists, and they studied athletes. And so they would feed them one type of diet and then measure their results. So how fast they ran, how quickly they recovered. And based on the feedback, they knew which food was actually converting to fuel and which food was depleting the body. Right.
That's helpful to know, especially for a high performance athlete. Quick tips on what type of food does help with top performance.
Right. So, first key thing to know, anyone can do this body check, right? When you eat food, after, do you feel energized or depleted? If you need to go take a nap, that food is not fuel. That food is not serving your body the way it's intended. Food should give you fuel. That's why we eat, right? And so that is a perfect way to test on yourself without me telling you the answer, right? You can test for yourself what works for my body. And it could be a little different for each person. Some people, I was eating red peppers every single day thinking, oh, super healthy. Turns out my body is like absolutely avoid at all costs red peppers, right?
Who
So
knew?
right. So I can't tell you exactly what's perfect for your body, but I can tell you based on the studies and based on the evidence that we've seen in the shop, because we guide people through detoxes as well, that when people shift away from processed foods and animal-based foods towards a plant-based diet, studies on countries have shown this as well, where when the GDP goes up, right, the country starts becoming more affluent, they start eating more animal products, they start getting the same diseases that we have here. Heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, strokes, cancer, diabetes, all of these things start happening when you start increasing the animal products in the food because of the saturated fats and the way the animals are raised on glyphosate, genetically modified foods that are rich in glyphosate or very toxic to the body, that's designed to kill bacteria. They have growth hormones pumped into them, antibiotics because they're on a unnatural diet. All of these things pass through the meat and the milk and the dairy, right? So when you remove those things from the diet, suddenly the health starts improving. But also the processed foods, the preservatives, the things that can sit on a shelf for years. I dug into this on ChatGPT, actually. I was like, okay, tell me exactly how preservatives are designed. And it gave me this superficial answer. I was like, no, I want the science. And it said preservatives are designed to go after basically anything that will start rotting on a shelf. What's happening is bacteria is getting to it and digesting it, decomposing it. So they want to stop that bacteria. They deserve preservatives to go to the cell wall of the bacteria and stop it from absorbing nutrients. So the bacteria starves to death.
Oh, that's not good.
Right. That's how preservatives work. Well, we rely on bacteria to digest our food. So if we're eating foods that are designed to kill off our bacteria, of course we've got gut issues, we've got bloating, we've got foods that don't actually digest and we don't absorb the nutrients. And so we're continuously hungry, eating more and more toxic food.
I see. So it's really cool that you have this entire background of holistic health and food as medicine and eating for fuel. You wanted to do something about it, provide this way of nutrition to the residents of Austin, and you started Conscious Kitchen with your mother. What really wanted me to talk to you is that you used AI to help you to get all of the information you need in order to go through the entire process of even providing this good food, nutritious food in a restaurant setting. And I'd love to hear from you how you use AI when you decided I'm going to start a restaurant with my mother, how you use AI in each of those steps, what worked great for you, what didn't work so well, and then what you wish would have been built that would have helped you in starting a restaurant so much better. Let's start with what worked. What AI tools or products or processes did you use when you decided to start a restaurant?
Okay, so once the concept is built, right? Once we understood, okay, we want to deliver all organic, plant-based, gluten-free, seed oil-free food, that concept was clear. Now the next step is location. find a location that's going to match that vibe, that's going to share and express that brand voice and identity. So I wanted like a holistic oasis looking place. We found a place that has archways, that has a patio that's in the greenery, right? So there's a very natural element, very soft, very inviting. It almost, you'll walk into Conscious Kitchen, it feels much more like a spa than it does a restaurant.
It does. And I was at Conscious Kitchen yesterday visiting you. It felt so serene.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I was walking into a restaurant because of how I felt going into, it's also right next to a yoga studio, surrounded by plants. I mean, it's beautiful, it's calming, and I was just happy to be there.
Right. Thank you. And what the traditional thought process with restaurant is use reds and greens to entice hunger. And I use pinks and greens, right? Which is subtly different, but significantly different when it comes to what the general population would, or general tendencies would say, like, this is what needs to be a restaurant vibe. I went with soft colors, soft cushions, everything soft and inviting, because I want to calm the nervous system. For me, when you eat, we were trained also that you want to calm the nervous system so that you're in rest and digest mode. Because if you're in stimulated fight and flight mode, you're not processing. So for me, it was really a holistic approach. And these things are important to consider when finding first the space. That's step number one. Once you get the concept down, find the location. And it takes going to every single spot. And when you walk in, it was like, I knew the minute I walked in, it was like a nope, 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 yes, right? This has the vibe that I want. And then the next step after that is permitting and getting really clear on what your city's requirements are, both from the development perspective, because we had to install sinks. And thank goodness we're raw, so we didn't need oven. We actually put an oven in just to bake breads and some cookies, because I'm a cookie monster. But we are primarily raw. And so that made not needing stoves, not needing air vents, things like that got taken off the table, thank goodness, because that adds a lot more complexity. We just needed to add in 4 of the required sinks, because you need a hand washing sink, you need a 3-compartment sink, and then you need a vegetable sink. Right? So that was all added into the plumbing. What I didn't know is the steps to get there. I started with applying for the permit. What I should have done is start with the MEP, the mechanical electrical plumbing engineer. MEP engineer should have been my first step. And because I didn't know that, it delayed me a month.
Did you use AI to try to figure out your steps?
AI didn't have this information for me in that moment. That's something that's definitely missing. It didn't have the structured, here are the steps first. Hire your MEP. Get him in to do the survey of what's currently existing and what are your plans? And what will that require in terms of mechanical, electrical, and plumbing? I had no idea. I'm brand new. I've never done this before, right? So I had to go through, I started with the planning permit department, waited for 2 weeks for a meeting with them. And then I had to wait 2 weeks for the engineer to come in. So that backlogged me a month. Had I known to start with the MEP, I would have had him in right away and then submitted that right away with that. And then I would have saved $30,000 on a contractor.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, because I thought I didn't know what I was doing. And meanwhile, I was one person away from doing it all by myself.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You had mentioned to me before you used AI to figure out what appliances you need, for example.
Yes.
And it helped you outside of the permitting and the contracting to find the refrigerator that you needed.
Yeah. So my 2 favorite use cases when it came to starting Conscious Kitchen was, number 1, I said to Chat, act like an electrician and find me the most energy efficient, highest capacity, largest capacity, and best priced oven I could find. Right?
And AI is really good for that. Yes,
AI
go search the world, the internet.
It did a phenomenal job. It gave me 3 results with like the obvious one that was the best recommendation. And so I got the largest oven I could, that was still energy efficient for the best price.
Perfect. Easy. Done.
Easy, done. Didn't have to know anything about electricity or ovens.
Yes.
Right? That was my favorite use case when it came to setting up Conscious Kitchen. My second favorite use case for setting up Conscious Kitchen using AI was with my lease. It was a 45-page commercial lease.
That's not fun reading.
No, torture. I read it. I read every single line, but I put this into AI and I said, act like a commercial real estate agent, read this lease, and then find out what could be detrimental to me in the future going forward if I sign this. And it came up with 8 things that said, this is going to hurt you long run. And then I said, great, write a letter to my landlord saying what I should change and what I want the lease to replace that with. It wrote the letter. I submitted that letter to an attorney. Instead of charging me $1,000, he reviewed it in 10 minutes for free and said, take out line 3 and line 1. You're not going to get those anyway. It's just going to make you look like a jerk, right? And it said you want to be someone, a tenant that's not going to, that wants to work respectively. Done. Submitted that, got most of it approved. What didn't get approved was fine. I'll accept it. And we moved forward.
You saved $1,000 in legal fees, just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It took AI 3 minutes to review a 45-page lease.
Did you use ChatGPT or Anthropic?
ChatGPT in that case.
ChatGPT. I'm a GPT girl myself.
Yeah, I had started off on ChatGPT. Everything I did was ChatGPT. Now I use Claude.
What do you use Claude for?
For my total toxic load assessment, I built out the skills in Claude. It started off as one skill and then it became way too deep. And I broke it out into 8 different skills, now 15, specific to what are the toxins in the food, in the home, what are the toxins in the food, what are the toxic thoughts that lead to dis-ease in the body. And each one of those had a bank of wisdom and knowledge and peer-reviewed studies that required a depth that one skill couldn't read through that much code efficiently.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I also recall you mentioned you used AI to help with recipe creation for your restaurant.
Correct.
How did you use AI to do that?
Yeah. So I wanted to create a line of holistic drinks that are on the verge of tinctures that support the body in healing. And without making any medical claims, because we're not allowed, I said, act as a herbologist, trained in how to use herbs, natural plants that we have on this planet that support the body in healing, and create a variety of recipes based on the things that I wanted to target. Liver cleanse, hormone balancing, thyroid support, right? Mold detox. All of these things are standard, very common challenges a lot of women and humans face these days. And so it created a beautiful list of recipes. And then my mom and I went to work at crafting them and tasting them. And we developed and then we added and tweaked and made them perfect so that they're really delicious as well as nutrient dense and supportive in healing.
I had your hormone balance tincture or drink yesterday, and it was delicious.
Right.
It didn't feel like I was drinking something. There are some holistic drinks where it tastes a little too like the earth. Or too much like grass, and
right.
It's just not a pleasure to drink. But your drink was delicious.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. We did our job. Yeah, and that's full of Schisandra berries and Vitex and incredible herbs and flower essences that support a woman's body in bringing back to balance, the hormones back to balance. And then we added a little extra lavender, right? Or we added a little extra essences that supported in tasting because it came out really tart at first. And so we needed to soften it a little bit, maybe with some coconut powder right? So we added some natural elements that will support it in tasting because I don't believe in suffering. Healing should not be suffering, right? Healing should be a delightful journey back to health. Why does it have to be torturous? Like, remember the medicine you used to get as a kid? And you're like, oh God. It doesn't have to be that way.
Yes,
It can be delightful. We have a flu shot. We call it a flu shot. And it's full of very powerful herbs that support the body in stimulating the immune system and fighting off any pathogens or, right? And so there's some fresh garlic in there. Raw garlic can be pungent for some people, but we combine it with apple. We combine it with things that make it more gentle to digest, but still powerful enough to heal.
I'm Ukrainian and we love our onion and garlic. And anytime I feel a little bit under the weather, I always know onion, garlic, nature's remedies, and
Love
then
it.
maybe I'll do the Dayquil, NyQuil. But I really like that you use AI to get started, but AI does not have taste buds. And it doesn't know that adding a lot of garlic into a flu shot drink without masking the strong taste with something sweeter will create a better experience for the person that drinks it. So I really like the story. You took AI to use the information out there, create the base ingredients, and then you use your own judgment, your own experience, your own taste buds to craft the end product.
Correct. Yeah. And that's a mastery, right? That's my mother's been a master chef for 30 years. So she knew right away. She can smell it and go, "Oh no, this needs something," right? And she'll add it before we even make the brew. She knew. So between the two of us, we crafted these beautiful concoctions. But yeah, so AI is the starting point.
Yes.
AI gives you the foundation, the base of knowledge and wisdom. You can use it that way. And then you add the human element into it to make it a masterpiece.
Very well said.
Thank you.
That is exactly the human and AI partnership that I'm trying to surface for people in the world, because with so many headlines on AI taking over jobs and AI doing jobs end to end specifically, we live in such a complex and nonlinear world. Our jobs are complex. AI cannot taste the food or the drinks that you create, and it really does take two to tango here, and you're such a perfect example of having this beautiful dance using AI to create something and putting it out into the world that's your passion.
Thank you.
However, AI is not perfect, and there are some moments that it can disappoint you or it doesn't give you the right type of information, such as during the permitting process, which you mentioned. If only you had the right permitting process, the right departments, you could have gotten started so much faster. So how was that experience, and where did AI not exactly fulfill that requirement?
Yeah, AI was missing the step-by-step guidance that I really needed. Surprisingly, because normally you can ask AI to say, "Hey, give me step-by-step guidance," but for some reason it didn't know. Start with the MEP, right? Start with that person coming in and scaling and scanning your business and scanning the space and making sure that it's giving you the specs and the docs that you will need. It only could go to the health department and say, "Okay, here are you're going to have to fill out this application. Here's the link," right? But it didn't tell me, "Okay, you're going to have to pass all of these things." It didn't know that I'm going to have specific now COVID documentation in my bathroom, or right.
That's so weird.
I now still have to have a printed document saying if you feel any flu symptoms or fever or right, to contact or to let me know and take the day off. Like I have these or the specific instructions now that need to be over the sink in the bathroom and over the sink where you wash your hands in the kitchen. I didn't know that. I didn't know all of the steps that the health code requires. Even if their website doesn't list it. The inspector comes in and she has a nice form that goes checks, all these things I wasn't aware of.
Why isn't that form in AI's knowledge
would make
database?
Everyone's life so much easier. So much easier. I didn't know that she's going to come in and her most priority was to check that the fridges are at a certain temperature and that the water gets to at least 110. Those are her checks. That's what's going to pass you or fail you. I didn't know that. These are things that I had to learn and have the inspector come in and say, "Okay, I'm going to have to come back."
Which is frustrating for you because if only you had known, this could have gone
easy fix.
Quickly. Yes.
Right. Our sink in the bathroom didn't have hot water. It just had cold water. I was like, but you're washing your hands. You got soap. No, it needs to get over 110 degrees to technically do a good enough job of washing your hands. I don't know anyone who washes their hands with 110 degrees. It's hot. It's burning, scalding. But those are the codes that we have to abide by. So I had to get a little water heater, external water heaters, pumpless. I didn't know that was an option. There's no actual tankless, that's the word. It just goes through this little square device, heats up the water, comes back out the sink. Super easy, $115. I could have installed, and then I didn't know I could install that myself. A plumber wanted to charge me $250 to install it. And I was like, there's one hose. I can figure this out. Sure enough, the hose goes in through the thing and another hose goes out and you put it where that hose went in.
Easy.
Took me 15 minutes to do. And he wanted $250 to do it. So suddenly I'm a plumber. But but these are the things that AI, had I known, like here's my spec sheet of like what I'm going to need to pass health inspection, would have been gold.
And it sounds like you need information from federal guidelines, state guidelines, and local guidelines, and what you need to pass, permitting, health, all of that.
Yeah, I think if you just stuck with the local's already concerned about federal.
Okay.
Yeah, is my understanding. But again, I think the local, if you pass their inspection, they're making sure you also pass federal. Yeah, but it is region by region. So Austin is very different than Westlake Hills. And even the permitting department. I originally went through the Austin's permitting site and it was a nightmare. Oh my God, the list was even 10 times longer. And then when I went to Westlake Hills, because it's a smaller city, smaller municipality, much easier, much less rigorous, much easier to pass compliance and get the permits for the construction done faster and easier.
And how would you have known that?
No, and not only that, you have to put City of Westlake Hills, because if you just put Westlake Hills, you're taken to Austin.
Oh, that is annoying.
So I'm filling out this massively long thing, freaking out because I'm doing it by myself. And then I talked to the guy at Westlake Hills and he's like, no, you're on the wrong part. Put City of Westlake Hills and you'll get a different application.
Who would have known? And it would have been helpful if an AI could have helped you fill out those applications.
100%. Because I ended up giving up right at the last minute, one plan away. Had I known that step, I would have saved $30,000. I wouldn't have hired a contractor. I wouldn't have needed one.
You really could have reinvested that $30,000 back into the business.
Yeah.
For something else.
Yeah.
And I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but on what Silicon Valley could build is maybe a local-based regulation permitting process tool. Wherever you want to have your location, it helps you actually create the checklist of what you need to know.
Yeah. Yes. That would be incredibly supportive. And then one thing we didn't tap on was I used AI extensively for market research. Who's our target audience? Is it just raw vegans? Well, there are like 4 in Austin. We'd be out of business very quickly, right? But we're also 100% gluten-free. We're 100% organic. We serve a lot of communities that have health challenges that require them to actually know what goes in their food. And sadly, we live in an age where we can't trust everything that's on the shelf. I wish for the day that we can walk into a grocery store and they've actually done their job as a grocery store owner and only allowed products in that are really truly safe for the body. And I wish that we come to the day where products are produced with that level of integrity, that there aren't hidden toxic ingredients in our foods or in our products that we bring home, right? But sadly, we're not in that day and age. So we as Conscious Kitchen are doing our absolute best to know what is in all the products. And we use primarily fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds, right? So we're getting single source ingredients that for the most part we can trust. Now we're buying organic, but we're going to the grocery store and that little water that they're spraying to keep the food looking, healthy is full of chemicals.
You can't trust anything nowadays.
You can only do the best you absolutely can. But reading labels is the first and foremost starting place. You need to read the labels. And a lot of times there's little trick words like natural flavors. Natural flavors are not natural. If they were natural, it would say blueberries.
Very good point.
Right?
Yeah.
Behind that natural flavors can be all sorts, a whole list of toxic ingredients. Same with fragrances, right? Fragrances can be 200 chemicals. They can list it behind fragrances. Preservatives don't even have to be listed. Sometimes they are, right? Tocopherols, and there are little words here and there that you can kind of spot and be like, oh, there it is. Got it. Back on the shelf, right?
Yes. Yeah. How do you use AI to create the marketing for Conscious Kitchen? And how do you educate people about holistic food and food as medicine?
Right. So I have a skill my friend developed called market sauce, and it is a deep dive into everything you need to know about your target audience, who they actually are, what the size, how they want to talk to, how do they want to be talked to, what are their biggest concerns. All of this kind of research was available for me, thank goodness. And you can do it without this market sauce, but my friend has done the deep dive into putting it all together so that he's created a kind of chief marketing AI officer for you. So you put your concept in and then it prints this full document for you. So AI can be used for that purpose. And then, who are we talking to? Really important, and because each person is going to care about different things. Someone who's plant-based or naturally a vegan by choice for ethical reasons is very different than someone who's got health conditions that they're like, okay, I've been told that if I lean plant-based, I will have better results with my energy and my body. And then that's also different from someone who has celiacs, who just can't eat gluten and is bummed that they don't get pasta anymore, right? And we have to teach them, oh my goodness, you can make pasta from zucchini. And you can make breads that don't have any any oats or any gluten in it whatsoever. So we have alternative for them. We make lasagna, and we make the wrap from zucchini and avocados and red bell peppers. It's incredibly delicious. And it tastes like a layer of pasta.
That sounds really good.
It's phenomenal. Our falafels, we use that same wrap to make the falafel wrap, and instead of a pizza bread that's normally being used. So it's learning that there are alternatives, learning that there is an option for people that are struggling with some of these conditions. And quite frankly, it's normal for them to be like when someone comes in with celiac or gluten sensitivities to our Conscious Kitchen, I'm like, you're welcome. Your body's supporting you, because the way these things are produced in our country is toxic. They're spraying wheat with glyphosate. Again, it's a pesticide. It's designed to kill the very things that we rely on to digest our food. So if your body's saying don't eat gluten, great. It's helping you out, because now you're going to have a gut microbiome that is actually going to be happy and survive and thrive, because you've been taught to stay away from these things that are actually toxic.
It has been such a minefield for me to also find things that I can eat. I've been very deliberate about paying attention how I feel after I eat certain foods, and now I have a better understanding. Do I want to take a nap? Do I feel energized and ready to have a power afternoon for the work that I have to do? And I actually have used AI, Gemini specifically, to go through the nutritional guides of some of the restaurants I order. Now, I order a lot. Most of the time I'm cooking for one or eating for one. So I don't have a lot of time to cook. And so I order a lot of the time, and thank goodness there are a lot of nutritional guides nowadays at restaurants, but it's still such a process to work with Gemini, take all those nutritional guides. I have had blood work done as well to see what is happening within my body, pair that with an AI to say, okay, if I'm going to eat here, what can I even eat?
Yes.
Or should I be eating here?
Right.
Because this could be detrimental to my body. Long story short, I can't eat anything except a raw potato at this point because it seems like no matter where I go or where I want to eat, it's toxic for me, or it's dangerous, or my body is not going to react in a good way. How do you think AI can be used for someone to come into a restaurant such as yours with their personal information about how their body reacts to certain food to be able to decide what dishes to order.
This would be magnificent. If anyone out there is producing an AI tool that will create a meal plan that specifically links to restaurants' menu items that would serve them, or the menu, or if they could like walk into a restaurant and they could get a list of like what to avoid in that shop. Oh, that would be gold, 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 gold. We have people that come into Conscious Kitchen that don't go to restaurants anymore. They cannot eat out. They choose to. They choose to not eat out because they don't trust anything anymore. And it all makes them feel sick. And their bodies, it's great when your bodies become that sensitive. People think it's a curse. It's actually a massive blessing when your body is so clear that it talks to you that way. And then it says, hey, don't eat that. We're going to put you in bed, right? That's serving you to know what long-term repercussions for your health. If you can realize it that quickly, right away, you're learning, okay, no, this is knocking me out, right? Imagine if you keep ignoring that and you do that every day for the rest of your life is going to be shortened.
Right. And it's such a mental load to keep track of, I can eat this, I can't eat this. Okay, I'm at a restaurant. Let me go through my list of things that I should stay away from versus safe food.
Yes.
What are the dishes on the menu? So to have an AI to be able to just do all that thinking for me would help a lot.
Please, if you develop this AI tool, come to Conscious Kitchen, find me. I will promote this magic because everything on our menu should light up green. Some people have allergies to walnuts. We do walnuts. So there might be some things that still don't work for people. But it would be a magical thing to create and so useful for so many people. And I think hopefully inspiring for restaurants to actually make a difference and choose foods that will serve their clients. I think that level of integrity I pray for. And an app like that would actually support this planet and humanity and moving in a direction of more integrity, more care for what they produce. I mean, we already have this, right, with AI tools that you can scan the barcode for beauty products and it says toxic.
That's true. I have used some of those, and they have barcode scanners for packages in grocery stores.
Right.
So there's an app called Bobby Approved that I really like.
Love
so
it.
I scan and it will say whether something is Bobby approved, it's good for you, or not Bobby approved, and it will tell you the ingredients, and it's so good. But again, it feels like walking in a minefield in this earth, whether it's a restaurant or a grocery store, of this is bad for you, and this is bad for you, and this is bad for you, and this is bad for you. So it's really encouraging to see that you started Conscious Kitchen as a first step to educate and provide an option for people who want a more holistic food option.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really important.
Nikki, how did you come up with the label design for your restaurant? And did you use AI for that or not?
I wish, this is something that I really wish AI could have supported me with, is a print-ready label. I didn't even know you needed the borders, right? I wrote out, using Canva, I'm very well versed with Canva, so I created what I thought looked pretty decent as a label, like my general idea. And then my friend saw it and goes, no. And he helped me find a really high-end quality brand design guy that's been doing this for 30 years. He was magnificent. He normally charges $10,000 a client, but thank goodness he's opened his books now to like startups, and he really wants to serve like the individual sole proprietor. He always used to work for corporations. And so for $1,000, this man took what I designed and made it profound in minutes. I mean, he probably took 24 hours with it, but he's that level that he can move quickly. And he sent me back, the first thing he sent me, I was like, done. Yes. Like there was nothing to change. It was beautiful. And the night and day difference between what I designed and what he designed, I wonder if AI can do.
AI does have image generation capabilities. What made you feel like, I know you also tried using AI, what made you feel like when you gave the same set of instructions to AI versus a veteran brand designer, the expectations and the output?
Yeah, the AI generated a very template looking output. It wasn't elegant, high vibe, classy, designer. It was, this has been made for a generic brand, very, like a little bubbly. Like it didn't have the elegance and the sophistication that I was really looking for.
Which says a lot. And it goes to the point of everybody expects AI to be this revolutionary. When you input a prompt and it gives you an output, it'll say something just completely fresh and unique, and you would have never thought about it. But the way that AI is built, it's all historical. It's looking back. It is looking at all the huge corpus of information and synthesizing it, all of that to produce results for you. So if it might even seem fresh to you, you know that it's based on other people's works and something that's existing. Humans are the only ones capable of creating something new, unique,
Right.
which ironically then goes back into the AI models to train them.
Right.
But if you use AI, you have to know that it's more of like a synthesis and reproduction of existing works. Whereas you're building a new brand, a new business. You wanted something new that only a human can give you.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, because they've got trained eye on he moved things over a millimeter, right? And put a very thin line somewhere, or like he did little microscopic adjustments that made it look popped, like gorgeous. And I don't know that AI has that skill yet. I think it really is running off template style formats. And so if you want to stand out as a brand, I think a human element would still be needed there. Maybe that will change.
Maybe one day. But you did use AI. I know Canva has some AI tools and existing templates to kind of get started, put something together, which is a recurring theme. You use AI to just get started.
Right.
But it is nowhere near the final product. No. And a person needs to step in and work with that to get to the final.
And even adding the print ready option, like there should be a link, make this print ready, because now if colors go to the edges, I need to have a bleed section. I didn't know that. How would I know this, right? A designer needed to show me that.
Right. And AI doesn't think necessarily upfront how you're going to use the design. It just gives you a design.
Here's your design. Good luck.
As a business owner, I also know that finances and budgeting are a big part of the process. Did you try to use AI for that?
I did. I actually got on chat and I attempted, because I really wanted to know the cost of each recipe. I was adamant, like my mother is just like, no, we make money. She's like old, like don't worry. And like
fuzzy math.
Really and I was like, no, my brain needs science. I need clearer numbers. And so I got on AI and I wanted to create a tool where I could just put in, okay, we buy a bag of almonds, a pound of almonds for $24. But each recipe takes 1 cup of almonds. So it needed to know the conversion from a pound to a cup. And then each slice is only 12, you get 12 slices in a pie. So it needed to be able to convert from pound to cup to potentially spoon, if it's spices, right? Or a quarter teaspoon. And so I tried to create that full chart breakdown so that I can adjust as the price of almonds goes up and down. I can adjust the price and then it adjusts it. I had one hell of a time getting it to actually fill in the spaces on the Excel chart. For some reason, it did not want to fill in the blanks, or it would just like duplicate and it would be the wrong values. And now these things exist where you can pay software. They have these AI tools for $150. You can use their software and it will calculate it for you. But it was $150 a month. That, like, on a tight budget, that adds up. For continuously doing that. So that was not well orchestrated. For some reason, it was a major challenge and it did not do what I wanted it to do. It would have taken me many more hours to perfect it.
So AI is creating more work for you than if you just did it by hand yourself.
Way more, yes. And then forecasting was a complete guessing game. I had no idea. And this might not be something that can be resolved because every restaurant's very different. We are not a flower child, right, that has 50 orders for lunch or even more, right? We're very nuanced, very small batches. So I don't know if forecasting could ever be perfected, but budgeting I could have had a lot more support with. I didn't know the cost of all the fridges and the sinks and the insurance and all of the different things that I would need. I wasn't at all well versed. We thought it was going to cost 30,000 to set up. It cost 85.
Way more than you were expecting.
Way more than we were expecting. And granted, that's still a very small budget. Most people would be like, they'd only cost you 85,000? Like, yeah. But I was on Facebook Marketplace finding chandeliers for $50 and driving to Dripping Springs to get them. Like, I was working it. But there were a lot of things I had no idea about. I had no idea it was going to cost that much more.
So it sounds like something that Silicon Valley could help build is a very specific tool for someone that wants to open up a restaurant, to have localized permitting processes, to have accurate budgeting items, which includes everything needed for a restaurant, including insurance and furniture, estimates, but also localized to your area, because having a restaurant in Westlake, around Austin, Texas is different than in New York, is different than in California.
Right.
And something to really support you in the decision-making process. I'm very similar. Sometimes I just tell me what I need and I'll do it. And I just want someone to tell me what I need to do. I'm happy to do all the work, but don't lie to me or don't mislead me. And AI can be very inconsistent that way, which is almost by design, because AI is not built to be a deterministic system. It's a probabilistic system.
Yeah.
So every time if you ask the same question, it will give you a different response. So it's this tension between taking a system that is probabilistic and moving it towards a little bit more deterministic to give you the information that you need, especially when it comes to something high stakes such as finances and budgeting, so you don't end up spending way more than you had originally allocated to get your restaurant off the ground.
Right. Correct. Yes.
Nikki, thank you so much for your time. If somebody wanted to come to your restaurant or connect with you, what is the best way?
Please, yes. At Conscious Kitchen, we're in Westlake Hills, just outside of Austin, Texas, about 1.5 miles from the downtown. It's the sweetest spot. You can come, sit, co-work, enjoy delicious, healthy, organic food that you can enjoy and trust that we're using all healthy ingredients. And sit with my mama and I will support you with any challenges you might have. We're there for you. It's really a holistic detox center as well as a nourishing place to come and enjoy food.
Thank you. And for more conversations like this, you can follow Artificial Reality on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you.